Hello, you lovely, lovely people, and good morning to another bright day here in the Philippines. Anyhow, bit of trouble here last night. It didn't really affect us, but I heard the woo woo of the police. I saw it go past the house, and didn't think no more of it. This morning, woke up at about 6 o'clock, and there was a load of shouting going on. And I'm looking at the guy now, actually, across the road. But there's a guy across the road. When he's sober, he's one of the nicest men you'll ever meet. One of the nicest Filipinos you will ever meet. As soon as he has that one drink too many, he just flips out. And he flips out with himself. He doesn't flip out with other people. He just flips out and he goes mental. And anyway, I didn't hear what happened last night. I just heard the police going by. And this morning, as I said, woke up to all this shouting going on, and there's this guy with a bald head shouting in his house, like in the guy's house who flips. And so my wife, because she's Filipina, they're very noisy people, she come out. Everyone was out. Me, no, I stayed in the back garden drinking coffee, because I knew my wife would come and tell me what was going on. And what happened was, the reason why the police come, one of the neighbours phoned them because he was breaking bottles. And he was breaking bottles and piling them up in the middle of the road. So the guy that was shouting at him, apparently was his cousin or something. And he said, get out here and clean these bottles up. If you don't clean these bottles up, I'm going to cut your head. Right? So that's what he says. That's what my wife said. He didn't come out. So I thought, God, my little boy walks down there with, his mum. So I went out there. By this time it was all quiet, the guy had gone. The guy who brought the bottles didn't even come out of the house. So I went down there and I took a bucket and I was cleaning the glass up. And, my wife was helping me. And then a few other people come out, Filipinos come out. And they were sweeping. And I said, why does he do this? Because this is not the first time. This has been a number of times he's flipped. And the police do generally come. Now, the difference is, guys, is if this was a foreigner that did that, we would be arrested and took away straight away. But because he's Filipino, he wasn't. And this is the thing that I really dislike about the Philippines, how we are segregated, okay? I mean, for a foreigner to do that anyway is a crazy thing, whether you're in your country or you're not in your country. But I'm looking at him now, he's just making something to eat outside, like nothing's happened. And he's a really wiry guy, like, he's a really muscly guy. He can do some damage if he wanted to people. But my point is, they can do what they want. It's like, you'll see many Filipinos pee anywhere. They will just piss anywhere. If we did that and the police went past, we would be arrested. There is no doubt in my mind that we would be arrested and probably deported on such a small offence. But these people, they can get away with whatever they want to get away with. And I know like a few people in England. My friend Edie! I know a few people in England who just have that one drink too many and they flip. And my take on that is, people who do that, they should know because people will tell them what they do, obviously. And if drink doesn't suit you, you flip out like that, then you shouldn't drink. But I've noticed it more with Filipinos. I've been, when I used to live in Dipolog, there was these guys that I used to drink with on the occasion, and they were great lads. They never flipped out. And it was drink for drink. They would buy the drink. I would, get one in. They would get one. I get one. Never any problem. But there was this one certain guy, and again he was a lovely bloke. But then he would start drinking. And I think, oh God, I'm going to leave in a minute, because after about 2 bottles, his demeanour would change. His character would change, and he used to get quite argumentative, and he'd start getting sarcastic. not towards me as such, but to the Filipinos around him. And I thought, that's it, it's time for me to go, because I knew what was going to happen. And this guy that I'm talking about in Dipolo, he actually stabbed one of his friends. He chased him down the road. Not this night when I was there. This was a long time after. I'd moved here in Pinion by this time. And he flipped his lid and he stabbed one of his good mates. Now he's in prison. So, I mean, yeah, you do something serious and the police will have you, whether you're Filipino or not. And he got, I believe, so my wife told me, because she knew the family of him, and they charged him with attempted murder, which it was really, wasn't it? And he's serving a long time in jail. But like I said, I know some guys in England that flip, but not stab, but they could get arsey with you, and they'd be looking for a confrontation. But here it seems to be more common, and here they will drink today, and this is not just some Filipinos, this is a lot of Filipinos that I know here. They can continue doing that the day after. They will start all over again, drinking. And it's not just drinking slowly and drinking like a sociable beer, it's drinking that, that fire water. It's like petrol. To me, Tandawai, he's just like petrol. And they will just continue drinking and drinking and drinking like there's no tomorrow. And they can do that day after day after day after day, until literally they just feel bad. Their bodies are like saying, hold on a minute, you'll give me a rest. But they always continually eating, and they here call it pollutant, and they will get some fish or something just where they pick it, even peanuts or crisps or something like that. But they just know how to drink here. I mean, I can have a session with the best of them, but only once, and that's it. I'm bad for a week, maybe even 2 weeks. It takes me a long time to recover. But these guys, they are, and they're only small. Most of them are small. You think, where do you put it all? How do you? But yeah, and so that's what I wanted to talk to you about. That. So you got to be careful. When you go out with these Filipinos, and it might be the best guy in the world when he's out to drink, but like I said, there's some foreigners that I know, like friends, not foreigners. I mean, they friends in England, and there was a couple of guys that I knew, but in the end, they used to just say, no, like, I'm not going to drink, and they kind of knew what happened, and they stopped drinking. But these guys here, they know what happens, but it doesn't bother them. It doesn't faze them, and they can be quite dangerous to be around. There was a party down here a year ago, I think, somewhere around about that time, and it's a really well-to-do family, and it was 2 occasions in one. They built the house, or it was a blessing for the house, and it was a party, and their family come from all over the Philippines. There was a lot of people there, and I was invited, and I said to Mira, I said, I don't think I'll go down, there's a lot of people there I don't know. And she said, no, go down, because you're being invited, and if you don't turn up, they might take that as a bit offensive. So I showed up, but I did the wrong thing. I showed up after they'd started drinking, and a lot of them were drunk, and all of a sudden this fight broke out, with family, and one of them got a ragga-row, like a machete, and they had to hold him back, because he would have split the guy's head open. He would have killed him. I mean, that was my call to go. The police weren't called because they kept it in the family. But this is what I mean. The best of friends, family, once they flip here, they flip. And it can be over the smallest of thing. Now, yes, we all know, like I've said, we all know people in our own countries that will do that. But, to that extent, here, brothers and sisters fight each other over things like my neighbours. And, we often talk about it. And here, it's a big family of the same family. And there's a bit of a confrontation going on over land. So one of the family members have said, well, you can't do this on the land. You can't get the copra. And The other one said, well, hold on. The other, there's like 10 of us. You can't tell us what to do. Oh my God, she rag a row, come out. And now no one from the family dare get that copra because she's put her foot down. When people say families are close in the Philippines, some are, but some actually aren't. And they say like family values here. It is to a degree, but it's not all. It's really not all. And when I see some videos saying, the Philippines is very family orientated, they are to a degree. But when it comes to money, I think that family bonding it decreases because, let's face it, people, money is king all over the world, but I think in these kind of countries it's more so. And it's like, when you buy land here, families will sell the land of another member of that family to somebody, and that person won't even know about it. They could be working in like a foreign country, and they will try and sell it. My neighbour, it happened to him when he first come to Pinion here, and he's my next door neighbour. He's an Australian guy, and he was going to buy some land, and he said, "Have you got the titles?" And he said, "Oh, you'll get that after 10 years." So, I mean, my friend didn't know anything about it, sort of thing, but his wife was Filipino. She said, no, that's not right. So they said, "Who does the land belong to?" And she said, "Oh, it belongs to my sister." "Well, where's your sister?" "She's in Canada." So they got the phone number of the sister whose land that this person was selling, and they called her up and said about, is it all right to buy your land? Is it clean tax? What? She didn't know anything about it. And she said, "If you buy that land," she said, "I will go to the police." So when it comes to money here, people, as well, and I'm saying this because people think the families in the Philippines will never do any wrong to each other. No, you couldn't be further from the truth in some instances. And they were going to sell the land that belonged to her sister to a foreigner here for that money. Now, what would have happened to that? Well, she would have come back. My friend would have built a house on that land, and she would have come back and she said, "What's going on here?" So my friend would have had to vacate that, lost their money on the land, and lost the money building the house. Now, I would say to anybody here who is going to buy a house or going to buy land, go to JRC, Visa and Real Estate Consultancy, because what that guy or that company don't know, it's not worth knowing. And I would recommend anybody to spend out a little bit of money to go to this company, because they will sort everything out for you. They will tell you to run away if that's what is needed. Don't touch it. Don't touch it with a barge pole. Because when you buy land here without all the necessary documents, and it goes on, there is so many foreigners and Filipinos alike who've bought land here, and there is no proper paperwork. It's like photocopies of land titles and photocopies of this and photocopies of that, which really is not legally binding. So the people that have done this, it's like they are on quicksand, and they could sink very quickly where, the owner comes back from wherever it is, or some people can buy land here and it's not all the paperwork isn't there, and they can live here forever. But when you go to sell the place, if that's your intention, you can't. It's like they sell land here without even having a survey done. You might say, "Can I have 200 square meters?" "Yeah, go and measure 200 square meters with your tape measure and take that." "Well, where's the boundaries?" "Oh, well, we from that coconut tree to this coconut." And you think, oh my goodness, there's not even pegs in the ground. It happens here. It happens here. In the city, I don't think it happens as much because it's more control. But in these provinces, it certainly happens. And what happens here as well is, you'll go and buy land, and it might belong to the person who's selling you it, but she might not have changed the name over. The person might have died, and they just don't bother changing names. And also land taxes. They don't bother paying land taxes. Agricultural land. They will sell agricultural land as residential. Now, agricultural land can only be cut in plots of 1,000 square metres. Now, this land we bought, me included, this was agricultural land, and we bought 300 square metres, 360 square metres, and we shouldn't have done that, but we didn't know that. But anyway, it's been sorted out. She had to pay money to the to the tax office, to the land, and it was a long drawn out process, people, honestly, and we didn't know what was going to happen, because she hadn't changed the title to her name, and we looked back through the paperwork that she gave us, and it was like this person, that person. It belonged to the bank at one point. And there was a loan taken out on it. And I'm thinking, did she pay the loan? And I went to see, of course she's going to say, yes, I paid the loan. It's perfectly all right. I says, but it's not in your name. It doesn't matter. So anyway, we had to pay from my pocket to get all of this legal and above board and get it surveyed. But they will tell you anything to get that bit of money, to sell that piece of land for you to buy it. And they'd be lying through their teeth. They will be lying through their teeth, and they will be acting like they are your best friends. But as soon as you buy that land and you start questioning them about paperwork, they will turn on you. They will turn on you. And they say, yo, what do you keep talking to me about that for? I've told you it's good and this, that and the other. So my personal opinion is go through a reputable agency. Don't buy it off the person next door. Don't do that, because it could be all right. But I would suggest it's not going to be. I would suggest going to JRC, like I said, because they are fantastic. And I said, yeah, they cost you a bit of money, but that bit of money that they charge you could save you a heck of a lot of money and heartache. You could walk out of a 2, 3, 4, 5 million peso deal with nothing when it all comes to light, if you do it like through these people here. Go on to a reputable agency. You will not go far wrong. And don't let your heart rule your head. If something is too cheap, and you think, oh God, this sounds a bit too good to be true here. It normally is. It normally is. Because there is so much land here. So much land, and it belongs to dead people, basically, because the names were never changed over, and that in itself, yes, you can get it sorted out. You can. It just takes time, like we had to do all this, and it took time and took money and patience, but in the end we got it sorted out. But if you go through like a reputable agency, they sort it all out for you, and they say, well, yes, it's a good deal, or it's not a good deal, walk away from it, or yes, stick with it and we'll go through with it. It's a suggestion, guys. It's just experience of me going through what I'd gone through and talking to my neighbour next door what he was going to go through. Like I said, the sister was going to sell the sister's land without her knowing about it. It happens. Anyway, it's a bit of a... And tomorrow, or when I do my next video, I think I want to talk about foreigners coming here. I'm not going to talk about it now, so I've done this video, but foreigners coming here thinking that they can do whatever they want, and you've only got to look at the immigration website about all these foreigners at the moment getting deported for doing this and for doing that, and that's what I want to talk about next. Anyway, people, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me. I could go to work today. I've had good company here for the last week, and it's been really good, and I've got to go to work. Oh, it is what it is. It is what it is. Take care, people. God bless you all. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Don't forget to subscribe, like, hit the notification bell and all that kind of stuff. And because it's all free. It doesn't cost you a penny. Thank you, people. God bless you all. Bye-bye.